Preparing to present, starting with conditioning yourself as a professional presenter. I some time back read the quote of a world-class non-traditional trainer who said, "To get to the top of most any profession, you've got to practice, practice, practice. Find a system that works and learn it. Spend enough time getting to know it and soon you will own it. And then, even under pressure, you'll deliver." That encouragement is true no matter what your profession. Conditioning is a way of life. It's a set of rules, sometimes philosophical, sometimes specific, but always practical and applicable. Follow the rules, established in many cases by mistake makers who boldly went before you, and always be conditioned to make the best use of the system. Approaching your prospect. For whatever reason, most likely due to their training and societal conditioning, lots of business representatives think they always have to dump all they know all the time, i.e. be the consummate and continually espousing subject matter expert. We found, though, that it's best to practice silence while listening to the prospect, so as to best learn what's on their mind, what's key to them, what problems they're seeking to solve, and similar. Once you've found those things, you can tailor your showcasing of C.A.R.S accordingly and come across with an even more effective presentation of the opportunity. If one's not accustomed to it, forcing oneself to do the day-to-day mechanics required to succeed in agent recruiting will seldom be easy starting out. Yet, perhaps years from now, the rigor required might be a smileable cakewalk in retrospect. If for no other reason than human nature, changing one's behavior to get the desired results can be very much an ultimate challenge. You will find, though, that doing what needs to be done can bring about success beyond your loftiest expectations. You can reach a point where the rewards have been so plentiful and enjoyable that it becomes almost impossible to remember today's pain. C.A.R.S provides every evidence of being one of the best means to reach that point. Questions lead to discovery. You should be helping your prospect discover for him or herself the best reasons to become a C.A.R.S agent. How should that happen? Not by your telling and explaining, but by your asking questions that educate the prospect and lead him to appropriate discoveries. When you think about the necessary sequence of events here, it becomes apparent that the prospect's discovery of the very best reasons to become a C.A.R.S agent need to occur sometime prior to your presenting. You're presenting just the C.A.R.S features and benefits of most identifiable interest to this individual prospect become then the confirmation of their own discoveries. It seldom registers with the prospect that this process of identifying the best reasons to become a C.A.R.S agent occurs via question and answer dialogue. Insightful, intuitive questions, however, are far more crucial to recruitment than any dog and pony show display of feature and benefit expertise you may endeavor to stage. The presenter here is posing simple questions which permit the prospect to thoughtfully engage in what becomes self-education. Necessary lead agent activity. Once the positive outcomes C.A.R.S provides have been identified, it's good to formulate questions in your own personal style which connect to or slant toward those outcomes. That is, questions that enable your prospects to discover the benefits of those outcomes for themselves. What actually occurs is the prospect discovers that it makes sense to work with you, and this happens before the actual presentation you give to them. Once you've so prepared and accomplished this, you'll be presenting at a whole new higher level by making great presentations long in advance of your actual presentation to the prospect. Stated another way, what's being said here is give a presentation, a great presentation, before you give a presentation. Develop at least 5 test the water questions in your own style to measure the prospect's actual need or desire for the outcomes that your offer can deliver. The prospect doesn't see the real preparatory presentation for 4 reasons. First, it takes place early in the presentation process while the opportunity is still being defined. Secondly, it takes shape in the form of questions rather than demonstrations and explanations. Third, it focuses on the prospect and his problems, challenges, or goals. Fourth, the prospect is so involved in his self-interest that he doesn't perceive that the questions are leading him to conclusions. Developing and using both impact questions and open-ended vision questions. Here are a couple of requisite definitions for this matter of two primary types of questions. First, impact questions emphasize the negative aspects and effects of a prospect's past, current, or future decisions and situations. Second, vision questions focus on the at-hand positive results which can be achieved if the correct course of action is adopted and pursued. After using a series of simple impact questions, you'll have someone in front of you who has recognized their pain and motivations, and someone who may want desperately to make a change. Vision questions, highlighting the features and benefits of your offer, enable you to show the prospect a bright future and to present him with a picture of what could be if he became a cash card agent. We appreciate that at first, posing what appear to be abstract questions concerning your prospect's future might seem a strange approach. Even among well-trained question-wielding reps, most are much more comfortable asking questions about the present rather than about the past or future. The positive effects of vision questions, however, cannot be denied. When your prospect can envision a future without their current problems, a future that might include improved revenue or a chance to work fewer hours, that's a prospect who can become your next biggest fan. Just like impact questions, vision questions often work best in a series, beginning with the effects changes such as you're recommending will bring. Vision questions usually have the word if in them. These questions are very powerful because they tap into your prospect's needs and desires for the future and often drop those needs and desires right into their imagination. Vision questions get people to articulate their emotions, and hearing themselves emotionally speak about their own needs and desires is what motivates them to take action. Just like you, your prospect has hopes and dreams. Your job is to help him reach those dreams. Part of how you accomplish this is by getting your prospect to articulate their goals and then mapping out the path that will take them there. The path, of course, is your offer of them becoming a cash card agent. The key is to get your prospect to articulate the path themselves, whether in whole or in part, instead of jumping in and pitching the solution yourself. The goal here is not to be your prospect's hero, but to be a supportive, positive, future advocating coach and guide instead. Here are three generic vision questions which illustrate what I mean.
Chip, if we could triple your income, what might that mean to the time you can spend with your kids? If you could qualify to become a cash card agent, how do you think that might complement your work history and add to the punch of your professional resume? And how might the extra time cash card delivers affect you personally, Chip? What changes do you see extra time bringing to your life?
In the most fundamental definition, implicit needs are the driving force behind most of what people do each day. Those implicit needs can be broken down into 5 categories. The first implicit need is success. This is the need to feel a sense of accomplishment when a person comes home from a long day of work. Even if people don't get any immediate gratification from completing all or portion of a task, that feeling of accomplishment and achievement motivates them to strive toward the goal and keep after the task to see it through. Prospects who are looking for this need to be met will often talk about wanting to get the job done or looking for a sense of satisfaction. The second implicit need is independence, which is the need to feel measures of latitude and control within one's occupation. Everyone has someone to report to. When a prospect can make a decision on his own, he feels in charge of his own destiny rather than as a faceless cog in a large wheel. Prospects who are looking for this need to be met will often mention yearning for the opportunity to be creative or the freedom to make my own decisions. The third most important implicit need is for recognition, and that's most often manifest in wanting to feel valued as a contributor, to be part of the solution, and to feel that one's opinions matter. Even though people are financially compensated for their work, almost everyone still looks for, appreciates in response to that pat on the back, the signal from someone whose opinion matters that their efforts have been noticed. Few people enjoy going to work every day with the feeling that their voice is not heard or that their efforts make only so much difference. Prospects who are looking for this need to be met might discuss wanting people to realize all of the hard work that I do, or folks to appreciate the contributions I make. The fourth most acute implicit need, security, is twofold. It's the need to feel that a person's place, their foothold, or their job will not be taken away from them, and it's the desire to save face and not look stupid or out of step. Although many reps in certain lines of work recognize the fear their prospects may have of losing their jobs, most don't take into account the need of their prospects to avoid embarrassment and criticism by peers, bosses, or even spouses. When a prospect with whom you are dealing seems reluctant and even procrastinates making a decision, he just may be apprehensive about making the wrong decision. As reps, we can't give our prospects written guarantees about their futures, but we can give them the tools to show them how to construct a better future for themselves. Prospects who are looking for this need to be met might mention being afraid that their ability to generate sufficient income could be in jeopardy, or they'll use keywords like concerned, worried, unsure, afraid, troubled, or doubtful. The fifth most important implicit need is for stimulation, which is expressed as the need to feel challenged by one's occupation, to go to work each day and feel exhilarated instead of bored. Surely it's not uncommon to hear prospects lament their busy schedules and crazy deadlines, but even worse are those who sit at their desk each day uninspired by and weighed down by the tasks in front of them. People enjoy using all of their faculties to solve a problem, to achieve near complete stimulation in that way, and often thrive in situations where they're called upon to use all faculties. Prospects looking for this need to be met will probably talk about the tasks they dislike or the everyday fires they have to put out, which never come close to using all their faculties and talents, or just the sheer boredom of their day-to-day work existence. If you recognize, touch on, or fully address these implicit needs in your prospects, your doing so will gravitate them toward you and your solutions. Once you understand which implicit need or needs your prospect wants met, you can use vision questions to address those needs. Using open-ended vision questions. Once you've determined which of your prospect's needs are not being met, you then endeavor to use that information to tailor vision questions for them. Vision questions are not overly complicated. They simply ask the prospect to look to the future and imagine how great a change could be. Once you've gotten a prospect to the point at which you'll use a vision question, you've earned the right to convince them how your offer can help achieve that goal. Vision questions not only serve as the second half of impact questions, they can be used by themselves when it seems that a prospect has already come to the have-to stage of commitment and does not need impact questions to be convinced of the need to take action. And as a footnote here, have-to is the third of three stages of prospect commitment, referenced and more fully developed in C.A.R.S' consideration of lock-on and impact questions. In like fashion, vision questions can be a way to salvage a conversation in which impact questions were perhaps not as effective, well-developed, or conclusive as they might have been. Furthermore, generalized vision questions can be used during other parts of prospect dialogue to determine prospect motivations. For example, sometimes certain prospects are not as free in expressing their frustrations and concerns. A prospect who seems standoffish and aloof might open up if asked one or more vision questions. Additional vision questions include, if you were able to achieve your financial goals, in what ways would doing so benefit those close to you? And what's your vision for the future of your finances? What do you see as the key steps you will need to take in order to get you there? What's your dream for the future of your career? What will you have to accomplish in order to get you where you want to be? Try to picture yourself 3 years from now. Share with me exactly what has to happen in order for you to be satisfied with your progress. And what would you envision doing with your increased free time? If you would be able to accomplish this objective, what would that mean to you? If this problem were solved, what would you then be able to do? Because of the positive tone and upbeat message they present, there are no downsides to using vision questions. On a typical day, most of the working population remains locked in the present and does not think about the future and what it might bring them or mean to them. Skillful use of vision questions can lift your prospects out of the present and into a sunny future. Your helping them to do so will earn their gratitude and respect, not to mention the fact that they will almost certainly want to remain in proximity of doing business with you.